Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and I know I said I was done with this topic, but man, it is so hard to stay away from. Skill-based matchmaking is probably the most talked about topic in gaming today. It certainly is within the Call of Duty franchise, because it's a system that is in place to protect lower skilled players from higher skilled players, with the ultimate goal of letting new players ease into the game, have more fun, and likely get invested and spend more money since they're actually enjoying their experience. On paper, that doesn't sound like the worst idea ever, but online video games are a very delicate balance. If all the lower skilled players are being protected, then they aren't actually getting any better, because it's the equivalent of only playing Pee-wee football. I mean, sure, some people in that skill bracket can end up being better than other people in that skill bracket, but there isn't much merit in being the best fourth grader of the bunch, right? Another aspect of the system that is flawed is that higher skilled players will only face other high skilled players in what is supposed to be a casual playlist. So if you're a good player, every match you play will end up being super sweaty and super competitive, and that is further compounded by the fact that not everyone wants to use the top tier meta weapons all the time. So if you're looking to level up bad guns in Call of Duty, but your skill level is so high that 70% of the people that you're playing against are sliding around the map with golden MP5s, that can create an incredibly unfun experience. I think that's one of the biggest factors for me, and for a lot of you guys out there, is that Call of Duty used to be a casual, relaxing game, but now it seems like every match is a COD League scrimmage. I've discussed skill-based matchmaking dozens of times here on the channel, but the reason why I bring it up again here today is because I learned something new about myself. You see, over the course of the past week or so, I have been losing my mind at trying to level up bad guns in a game that is designed to suck every ounce of sweat from my pores, as if Bobby Kotick himself needs it to serve at his next investors party. But it turns out, even though I feel like I've been doing horrible for so long in Black Ops Cold War, it turns out I am actually fucking amazing at this game. And that's not me being arrogant, that's not me acting like I'm better than everyone else. In fact, I think I'm pretty terrible at Black Ops Cold War, because when I look at my stats, they are awful compared to any other Call of Duty title. But then I looked it up. Right? I used COD Tracker, which is that website that everyone has been using to expose all those YouTubers who have been reverse boosting for years now, and I can make a whole video on that, but suddenly it's kind of in fashion for these gameplay YouTubers that have been lying to their audience for years about reverse boosting to suddenly come out and say, oh yeah, I've been reverse boosting because it makes COD more fun. Well, it's like, why didn't you say that years ago instead of lying all this time? You're just now coming out and saying that you've been reverse boosting because it's kind of acceptable because Cold War is so sweaty. But either way, I could talk about that for another 20 minutes. But let's move along here. I used COD Tracker to actually look up my stats. I've never done this before, and what I learned was actually mind-blowing. Not only is my kill-death ratio the worst that it's been in over a decade, but that horrible kill-death ratio of mine places me in the top 9% of kill-death ratios in the entire world. Now, pardon my French here, guys, again, but I cannot fucking believe this. My 1.46 KD means I have better stats than 91% of the Call of Duty players in the entire world. And keep in mind, this is actual kills to deaths, not eliminations to deaths. If we look at that, then mine is a much more respectable 1.76, but the point still stands. How in the actual fuck did we reach a point as the Call of Duty community playing a franchise that's been around for 17 years and a 1.46 KD and casual public playlists puts me in the top 9% in the entire world? I posted this to Twitter, and one of my followers claims that his 1.22 KD puts him at the top 21% in the world, and that blows my mind, guys. This other guy has a clean 2.0 KD, which was usually the standard for a decent player back in the day. It wasn't crazy, but 2 KD meant you were pretty good. But here in Cold War, that puts him in the top 2% in the entire world. How insane is that? I'm sitting over here as a YouTuber of almost 10 years who's been playing the franchise for 13 years, and if I want to go back to the last Call of Duty title where my KD was at a 1.46 or lower, I have to go all the way back to 2008, with Call of Duty World at War. This was the first game I hit 10th Prestige in. It was a game I absolutely loved, but it was also a game that I was really bad at because I was just then dipping my toe into online video games for the very first time. My stats here in Black Ops Cold War are comparable to my stats from when I was a 17-year-old kid playing on a 4x3 RCA television, having just got internet for the first time in my entire life. How is that possible? 1.46 KD gets me into the top 9% of the entire world. Hell, back in high school, a 1.46 KD wouldn't get me into the top 9% of the cafeteria at lunchtime, right? A 1.46 KD, while it's not horrible, it's not exceptional by any stretch of the imagination, but apparently it's better than 91% of the other players in the entire world. That makes no sense whatsoever. Skill-based matchmaking is absolutely insane in this year's game. It's like I discussed in my previous videos on this subject. This is just sort of something that we have to accept because it obviously works for Activision and it's making them tons of money, but holy hell here, guys. When you actually look at the numbers, it's mind-blowing what is considered good at this day and age. If anything, I suppose this takes a lot of pressure off me because when I stream, I'm oftentimes failing to pull a 2KD in my matches, and I feel like I'm letting my viewers down. But no, it turns out if I pull out a 1.5 KD in a given match, I'm pretty much the Hulk Hogan of Call of Duty. If I drop a 2 KD, then I'm the fucking Macho Man on the top rope calling for the elbow. It just blows my mind how sweaty this year's game really is, and the standards, how far they have dropped for what is considered to be good stats within a Call of Duty match. Now, one possible light at the end of this sweaty, acne-covered tunnel is Tom Henderson, who is a well-known leaker of Call of Duty news and Call of Duty information. He took to Twitter to let us know that his inside sources have told him that Activision, Treyarch, and Infinity Ward are all very much aware of how much the community dislikes skill-based matchmaking in its current state. There's a lot of talk going around right now, like I mentioned, about those YouTubers who are making second accounts, reverse boosting on those accounts, and then joining the session of those accounts to get easy lobbies and post great scores for their videos. Well, Activision is very much aware of this. Treyarch is very much aware of this, so a fix for this quote-unquote exploit may be coming soon, but I think the big hope amongst the greater community is that skill-based matchmaking be toned down a ton. Let's go back to the old days where if you're bad, you're bad, and you have to play to get better. I'm not saying I want my lobbies to be super easy all the time. Low competition is fun, but I just want my matches to go back to being solely based off connection, and for the teams to be divided somewhat equally based on skill. That's how it used to be back in the Call of Duty franchise, and that's when it was the most fun. I want to be able to relax when playing my favorite video game franchise, rather than having to take my blood pressure medication just to make it through a couple of hours of search and destroy. I want Call of Duty to be the relaxing, enjoyable, and challenging game that it once was. I want it to be the game that I fell in love with back in 2007 when I was that bad player who was getting stomped, but I'm not sure that's ever going to happen again, at least within the current gaming climate. I mean, there's so much to discuss when it comes to this topic. Chances are, I said I was done with this topic, but chances are I'm going to be discussing skill-based matchmaking quite a lot this year because it's always going to be a very hot topic here within the community. All I know is I do love Cold War, and I do have super high hopes for Season 1, but if you're like me and you feel like you've been struggle busing with Cold War so far, you aren't alone. If your KD is above a 1.2, then you're doing better than literally 80% of the entire world. And if you have a 2 KD, you might as well be playing for Optic. Right? The landscape for the Call of Duty franchise and the Call of Duty community has drastically changed so much over the past 2 years because of the skill-based, the performance-based, and the monetization-based matchmaking, and that's just sort of where we are right now. As always, I will keep you guys posted if more news comes out surrounding skill-based matchmaking, but until then, I think I've ranted enough for one video. It's just something I wanted to get off my chest when I found out that a 1.46 KD puts you in the top 9% in the entire world for Black Ops Cold War. I feel like that needs to be discussed. And I could probably raise that KD by playing game modes like Free-For-All or Team Deathmatch and so on and so forth, but I like playing the game casually, right? I play Hardpoint, I play Domination, I play the Nuketown playlist and level up my M60, I, play Search and Destroy with my friends. Like, I don't really go for KD, I try to win my matches, but I try to do well, obviously. I stream pretty much 99% of the time when I'm playing COD, so I try to do well, and someone like me, and I'm not saying I'm the best player ever, but somebody like me who has been playing COD for 13 years, which is, fun fact, older than most of the people that are killing me in COD these days. But I've been playing COD for 13 years, has been traditionally a 2 to a 2.5 KD player with an 80% win rate. I then play Cold War, where it's so strictly skill-based matchmaking, suddenly those stats are much, much worse. And it's not enjoyable to that extent. I mean, the game itself, the core game experience is fun, but man, trying to level up bad guns when everyone else is sweating constantly is ridiculously difficult. In fact, I may just put off the Dark Matter grind and go back to using SMGs and assault rifles, because let me tell you, using things like light machine guns, snipers, and stuff like that is pretty rough out there when you're up there in the higher echelon of skill-based matchmaking. By no means am I at the top, but I'd say I'm like in the top 70 maybe or something like that. Like if we go like 1 to 10 skill-based matchmaking, I'm probably a 7, maybe an 8, and it's rough, man. It is really rough out there, and I just want to discuss that here today, and hopefully you guys all enjoy the video, because I suppose misery loves company. If you've been struggling, we all have, right? Every one of us has been struggling with this game. It's pro players all the way down to people that just started, right? We're all struggling right now, and there's some sort of comfort that comes from that, just everybody knowing that we're all struggling together, and it's not just us, it's not just our friends, it's everybody. There's a bit of a comfort to that, but still, it doesn't excuse the fact that skill-based matchmaking is the way that it is, and how it's kind of taking away from the core Call of Duty experience that we all fell in love with many years ago. For everyone, it's different, right? For me, it was COD 4. For you, maybe it was Black Ops 2. Maybe it was Black Ops 4. Maybe it was World War 2. Whenever you start playing the Call of Duty franchise, except for Modern Warfare 2019, I can guarantee the game was a lot more enjoyable and relaxing as compared to now, where it is a straight-up sweat fest. But ladies and gentlemen, once again, that's all I have for you guys here today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider leaving a like. Thank you all so much for listening. I'll catch you with another video tomorrow. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.